And now, the honest, unabridged version of President Obama's State of the Union address.
Members of Congress and my fellow Americans, last month I ended the war in Iraq, and for the first time in 2 decades, Osama bin Laden is not a threat to this country. I have replaced him with trillions in debt. The defining issue of our time is how much money someone else has. 6 months before I got here, we lost 4 million jobs. We lost another 4 million before my policies took effect. And since we are still waiting, it's still Bush's fault. On the day I took office, I refused to let American auto unions go out of business. Chrysler is doing well. So is Ford, which I had absolutely nothing to do with. General Motors? No comment. I promise there will be more inspections to keep counterfeit purses and CDs from crossing our borders. Mexicans are still exempt. Hundreds of thousands of young illegals live with the threat of deportation. That doesn't make sense. We've found that when students don't drop out of school, they tend to graduate. And I will not walk away from the promise of clean energy. Send me a bill that creates more cylindros. And let's take the money we are borrowing to no longer fight a war in Iraq and pay down the national debt and do some nation building with what's left. I'm still against mercury poisoning and unsafe food and water for our kids, just in case you were wondering. Tonight, I'm asking Warren Buffett to pay higher taxes. I can't imagine lowering his secretary's taxes instead. See, the divisiveness in Washington comes from a mix of money and politics. So together, let's fix that by raising $1 billion for my re-election campaign. I love Israel. And if Iran changes its mind on nuclear weapons, we will all be surprised. Which brings me back to where I began. One of my proudest possessions is the flag the SEAL team took with them to get bin Laden. All that matters now is that I get reelected, and I will wring every bit of glory out of that flag that I can. This nation is great because I am Obama. Thank you, and God help the guy that runs against me.